Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. You looking for a cozy, romantic cabin for two? Or maybe you want to take the whole family for a Smoky Mountain getaway. Whatever size you need, Parkside Cabin Rentals has beautiful cabins in Sevier County available. Plus, when you rent with them, you also get free parking in downtown Gatlinburg whenever you go into Gatlinburg. Let me tell you, if you're staying in Sevier County, there is one group to go with in terms of cabins. Go to their website. You'll see for yourself option after option after option. Beautiful locations, beautiful cabins. Parkside Cabin Rentals. All right, let me show you the graphic here. Tennessee's buyouts of John Curry and Butch Jones dragged the UT Athletic Department back into the red last year. They had a deficit of $6.5 million, and that didn't even involve a border wall. $13.8 million were paid out in severance pay to various ousted coaches and administrators in fiscal year 2018. You look back at fiscal year 2017, you had a surplus of $10 million because you only paid out $1 million in severance fees. Now, all that said, you're in the hole there, okay? But you've given out 3-year contracts. You paid huge dollars for your strength and conditioning coach. You've got more exterior coaches, if you will, those quality control guys. You've built up that staff. You've got some slots to fill. You're now, your salary pool for the coaches on field, $6 million, which would have ranked 8th nationally last year. Okay, now, if I were in a tight fix, I would be spending the money to try and fix that as well. The trick is, can they buy themselves out of the hole? Because if something goes wrong here on the Jeremy Pruitt front, you're already at a deficit. Now you're paying more money. 3-year deals for some of these guys, which would be 2 for some of them now. Mm-hmm. Can they afford another washout?
Not this year.
Maybe not next year.
Well, here's what will happen. This is kind of hard to explain, but anyway. So they still have in their reserve like $9.5 million. Okay, so you have to count all $8.26 million of Butch Jones in that fiscal year, and every assistant. But that was for that year. So you actually are going to be able to get some of your reserve back going forward. But you better get a lot of it back, like 5 or 6 or 7 million back. So I think they'll build up the reserve maybe to 15 or 16. But if you cut bait with everybody after, if Pruitt and them don't make it, now you're looking at about a 0 reserve.
But here's the thing, in terms of the reserve, and a lot of that's coming from the SEC network money is what's helped.
That's correct.
Go back to our second segment today. Mm-hmm. We're talking about 75,000 people being over there, 3,500, 4,000 comp seats being used. You look at Alabama, you had 85,000 people. How many were Alabama fans?
Bunch.
Yeah, what's your season ticket base right now? Around 60?
It was 66 last year.
Okay.
It will decrease, I would think.
So we're getting down around 60. I just wonder, and there's no other solution. The answer isn't okay. I mean, you'd love to find somebody who wins for less. That's great. That's what everybody wants. I'd like the best car. I'd like a Ferrari for $10. If I could get it, I'd do it. I'm not saying they're not doing the right thing and spending and getting the right staff. I think that's great. You're at a danger point here, though. We've seen Tennessee run in the red before, and they had that reserve fund clipped until the SEC network came along and really benefited them. To me, I just don't know that this is a guaranteed buy yourself out of a hole. A lot of people think, spend the money and you'll win. Ask Michigan how that's working out with Jim Harbaugh.
You have to do it. I mean, I think the answer is you can't be in that position every 3 years, where with Derek Dooley and Butch Jones made it 5 years at least. That was a better situation. You can't keep having 3- and 4-year coaching cycles. You've got to at least have some continuity there to keep from going through that buyout cycle. At the same time, winning is part of it. Part of the swing from a surplus to a deficit mentioned in the story about this is $1 million drop in ticket sales. It's a big difference.
Basketball will help, though, in some of that. Will help some. I don't know how much.
Yeah, and I would also say with the money that's being spent, well, let's fast forward to a couple of years from now. If Tennessee is not winning, well, because Tennessee is spending, fans will then start to say, what's that money going towards? We're spending all this money that then you would have to, in this scenario, have to catch back up on. The anger that would be there from fans as time is removed from championships, it'll be even louder as well.
And again, the arms race with stadiums, you've got to give yourself as many opportunities to have premium seating, to maximize revenue as attendance drops. The way to offset that is club seating, premium seating, all that stuff. So that's something else you got to consider.
Which then makes the small fan mad, who says, well, I can't go to the game anymore. And you're right in terms of you can go back. It's a little different angle, but where's the money going? Remember how much grumbling there was before the athletic departments were combined. Every year it was, oh, you've got 1,500 ADs over there. Not that anybody here, it's not like my check was going straight to pay the administrative head of janitorial services, but people complained about that to no end. I wonder, though, you know, if you're paying all these assistant coaches and all these new quality control coaches and you're not winning, will people quickly say, what are we throwing this money at? And I think the answer, based on what I just went through with previous history, is yes, they will.
But there's no doubt right now the resources are there to be successful, right? Resources meaning money, and that's going into the people that Jeremy Pruitt wants to hire to be able to hold on to Craig Fitzgerald, to be able to bring in Jim Chaney. I mean, the commitment there's $5.3 million when you buy him out at Georgia and give him the $4.8 million contract, and then the update or the redo of the weight room a year ago. I mean, all the money that was put into it, it's there to help Jeremy Pruitt succeed.
Well, yeah, and you put all that money into the weight room and then quickly turn around and ripped all that other stuff out and put new stuff in.
Yeah.
So
I've had three significant boosters tell me that because of the buyouts, they would no longer donate. Now, that was last year.
Right.
So I think you may see some of that happening too.
I just don't like seeing Tennessee back running in the red. And again, you lump it all in there. It's 1 year. Curry and Butch won't be there next year with that kind of money. But if something bad happened, an NCAA thing, if something happened this year, you're in a position, I think, where I don't know that you could afford. If you had to blow all these guys up tomorrow, and if I'm running a business, that's the way I look at things. All right, worst case scenario, something goes wrong, I got to get rid of these guys. How much money do you have to go hire somebody else if something like that catastrophic happened, unforeseen? I don't know.
If it happened this year, you're exactly right. They'd be in the red.
Or next year. I think this year or next year it could be very interesting. Hopefully it won't come to that.
You know what, though? Fans expect to see Tennessee spend. That when they see that 8th highest paid coaching staff, they expect that. They say Tennessee has the resources. You got to have that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
just got to be
that's a good
responsible.
thing. Yes, I think that's a good thing. The problem is, whatever you do, it's always a risk.
Yeah.
So you hope you're banking on the right guys. But I'm not saying don't spend.
Yeah. You just got to make the right hires.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Yeah. When we come back, we'll take a look. Could the SEC, thank you, Ryan, good job today. We'll be back with Mark Pankratz, Mike Strange in a minute. When the NCAA tournament hands out its seeding, its selection Sunday stuff, could the SEC drag Tennessee down? We'll look at some numbers. Come on back.